Here we are together again on the radio with, this was a email I received from a listener, which was a link to an advice column. Actually, we get many links to this column. It's called Dear Prudence, and it appears at the website slate.com. And let me read you this email and then give you my opinion about it. Dear Prudence. By the way, the letter writer is named Tom. I was married a year and a half ago after a probably too brief courtship to a man who soon after the wedding, was diagnosed as bipolar. I later discovered she had a previous history of mental illness that she had concealed from me. I feel as if I'm living with an emotional terrorist. I never know where or when the next bomb is going to go off. She is now on medication and things have gotten better, but better still isn't good. Intimacy, partnership, and equality are no longer real possibilities. We haven't slept in the same bed for over a year. Yes, we've tried counseling, and no, nothing improved. My wife is also financially irresponsible and routinely bounces checks. I discovered that she had tens of thousands of dollars in defaulted debt. I know that anyone reading this letter is going to say, it's been less than 2 years and you were lied to. Get out while you're still sane. But I feel tremendously guilty over the idea of abandoning someone who was mentally ill and who, all likelihood, could not survive on her own financially. Yet I also feel that I can't live the rest of my life trapped like this. I just need an impartial voice to tell me that if I end it, I'm not going to be condemned to hell for needing to move on in order to survive. Who cares what Prudence's response is? Let me make this real clear. As someone who has been married and divorced 4 times, can I tell you something? If you hit for me the fact that you're bipolar, I'm out the door. Done. There's no divorce. It's an annulment. I'm out. No doubt about it. If you lied about your credit history and I found out that you had defaulted on tens of thousands of dollars in debt or that you were a routine check bouncer, goodbye. By the way, not only would I not get married, but if I ever did it again, which I won't, the first thing I would do is I would check your credit history, your FICO score, and I would ask questions like this. And if you lied to me, I'm out. No guilt. None. I would feel none. And by the way, I put my money where my mouth is because I did marry somebody who had issues. I'll be real specific about the issues, but not about the person. I married somebody who was, if not diagnosed bipolar or clinically depressed, they certainly had all the symptoms. How do I know? Because I had a large family. My mother was the youngest of 10 kids, and there were people in my family who had this problem, and I saw it close up, and I know the symptoms. Unfortunately, I didn't know or see the symptoms until after I got married. Somebody who stays up late at night drinking. I would go to bed. They would stay up until 7 or 8 in the morning. I'd wake up the next day. They'd be going to bed. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't go to work. Lost her job for some unexplained reason. And then just stopped going to work. Stopped looking for work. Stayed home. Stayed up all night. Couldn't sleep. Drank heavily. By the way, I found out later on that she was also probably an alcoholic because she was drinking full bottles of vodka. I don't know at what pace. And hiding them. after she left, I found empty bottles of Absolute behind cans and bottles in my pantry. I was cleaning out the pantry and found multiple empty vodka bottles. One year to the day after we got married, I took her back to where we had our honeymoon, figuring this would be a good venue. Since we had a good time on our honeymoon, this would be a good venue to say what I was going to say. We went there, we had 6 great days, and on day 7 I said, you're either going in for help or I'm getting out. You have no choice. You have to get help or leave. And she literally left me at the hotel, called her mother. Her mother sent her a plane ticket, and she flew home. And that was it. We never saw each other again. I have no tolerance for this kind of thing because I've seen it in my own family. I just have no tolerance for it. And I don't know why you should. You're not doing anybody any favor by being their enabler, by being there and tolerating their lies, their depression, their violence, bouncing checks, whatever it is. You don't owe that to anybody. I've told this story on the air before. I dated a woman at one time who told me she couldn't drink. And I said, why not? She says, well, I'm on medication. But she wouldn't tell me what kind of medication, and I really didn't know, and I was kind of ignorant. My first concern is, what are you on? You're on AZT or something? I mean, what are you taking? You know, maybe I can catch what you have. So one day, just like the woman in the Southwest Airlines commercial that causes all this racket in the bathroom, one day I said, excuse me, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I was at her place. I went to the bathroom, turned on the water so that you couldn't hear what I was doing, and then I opened her medicine cabinet. And there I found the answer to my question. She was on medication. What kind of medication? Lithium. She was bipolar. That was it. Goodbye. I literally finished up in the bathroom, flushed the toilet, closed the medicine cabinet door. Unlike the Southwest Airlines commercial, all the stuff didn't come cascading out of the medicine cabinet, causing me immense embarrassment. I looked in there, saw what she had, and then got the hell out. Last time I talked to her, she couldn't figure out why. She called me repeatedly. That was it. I was done. You know, boo-hoo-hoo, I feel bad for you if you are bipolar, if you are clinically depressed, or you've got other mental illnesses. I feel your pain. But I don't plan to feel your pain by living with it. I'm not going to live with you or your pain. If I find out you've got that kind of problem, I'm out the door. Out. Out. Some people think I'm insensitive. Some people think that you should be there to help people like that. If I'm stupid enough, if you deceive me into falling in love with you without telling me that that's your problem and later on I figure it out, I will turn right around and stop being in love with you. I will be out the door. I've seen it up close. I don't want it in my life. Why the hell would I want to date somebody like you? You tell me.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
I totally agree with you that women can be attention whores, especially for the fact that I live in the city of attention whores, Los Angeles.
We invented attention whoring here.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Here's our telephone number. Christy, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to say something about this guy who doesn't know what he should do. I'm a bipolar survivor, and I think I agree with you that nobody should be in a relationship with someone who cannot disclose their problems. and also someone who hasn't obviously dealt with. I just wanted to say that I am in a relationship. I disclosed bipolar disorder in that I'm still currently in. I'm married, but I don't think that I would find. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that you can find that would tolerate that. And I think this definitely, I mean, should not feel guilty about leaving someone, because if he stays with her, he's just basically saying it's okay to not, that it's okay for her not to deal with her problems and that someone else needs to put up with it, and it's not. So I encourage him to be okay with her, you know, dealing with this on her own, because until she takes over it and masters it, she's never going to meet someone, and her problem should never infuse the lives of anyone else around her, you know. And I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah. Well, I would never feel guilty about leaving. That's more than a person should be expected to deal with.
Yeah, it is. And
I hate to say it, it's your problem, but it's not our problem.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that she didn't disclose it, that just sets them up for failure to begin with, because she doesn't want. I mean, if you're worried someone's not going to accept you, and if they're not going to, you need to just tell people and weed those people out.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, you always disclose it. Are you married now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm married.
And has your illness been a problem in your marriage?
I wouldn't say a problem, but I don't want it to be a problem, to the point I think I beat myself up a little bit more than I need to. You know, I don't expect to get any sympathy, you know, for having a bad day. You know, I was in a relationship before I was diagnosed, and happened to be with a psychologist, and he kept telling me to get help, you know, and I just was in denial that I had a problem, you know, and that didn't work out. But I think the fact that person said I will not accept it, you know, it's truth to what my life was going to be, you know, and I truly want it to be stable, you know, and I had some credit problems too, and I was financially irresponsible until I got a hold of this situation. And I think in any relationship, bipolar or not, I think anyone who's going to marry someone should know someone else's credit score, regardless if they have bipolar.
I totally agree. To me, that's a deal killer. Anyone who's got lousy credit, out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, I just want to say I appreciate your show. And I think that you should keep telling people the truth. You know, that people don't have to put up with other people's problems or baloney or whatever it is, that it's not worth it.
That's my game plan here. Thank you for the call. Yvette on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I just wanted to get your opinion on how do you feel if a man getting married to a woman and she's fine, and then she has 2 kids and she gets postpartum depression, which was in my case, and how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, I never planned to have kids, so postpartum depression would never be a problem for me to begin with.
Okay.
But I would say, as someone who has postpartum depression and won't get treatment, out. Out.
What if she's getting treatment and it's taking a little bit longer than...
It never takes a little bit longer, dear. How long is it taking?
2 years.
That's not a little bit. That's 20% of your entire marriage.
But it's something that can't be helped. That you get help, you take medication.
That's whose problem is that? It's your problem.
Yeah, but okay. Now, my opinion on this is I think people nowadays have this idea of marriage as something goes wrong, let's just get out of it.
Exactly. That's right.
But you get married, you take vows for better, for worse, sickness and in health, and I would think that would include mental health.
Well, you would think that, but what if the person you're with is homicidal?
I think postpartum depression it's not as bad as being homicidal.
Yeah, but what if someone was homicidal? Do the wedding vows mean you have to stay with a person like that? Well, actually they do, but that's why wedding vows are ridiculous to begin with.
I guess that's why you're not married.
Not married anymore. Not going to do it again.
All right, Tom, thanks. I just wanted your opinion.
All right, Yvette, thank you for that. Sorry about that. Ryan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm okay.
I was just wondering why it matters what their credit score is if all you're going to do is hit it and quit it anyways.
Well, I'm not talking about the hit it and quit it style. Frankly, if you're hit it and quit it, all I'm concerned about is whether I can catch something you have. But if I'm going to have a relationship with you, which for me is not likely anymore, but if I'm going to have a relationship with you, yes, you might have a good credit score and no mental illnesses.
What's good, above 700?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was just wondering.
You don't want someone moving in with you, signing a lease with you, or having access to your bank account who has a bad credit score. It drags you down.
Drags you down, and then they want you to buy everything for them.
They want you to bail them out, too.
Yeah.
If somebody who's got a lot of debt when you marry them or when you get involved with them, well, why would you get involved with somebody like that? Just bang them and leave them.
I agree.
All right, Ryan. Glad to hear it. Heather, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Great. I have some advice for this gentleman, Tom, in the email. I just have to tell him that he needs to go today. Because the longer he stays, the longer she's going to work him. And I was married to somebody for 9 years. I could have swore I was at email.
Well, that's how I feel about it.
And it's just never going to get any better. And she willingly, exposed him to emotional abuse, which is what it sounds like he's going through.
Why would you want to tolerate that?
You don't.
Yeah, I really don't care. You know what? I hate to say it. I don't really care what someone else's problems are. Couldn't care less. Those problems are their problems.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is. I mean, especially when you get in a relationship, you don't not tell somebody what's going on and then expect them to just, pick up the slack and take care of you. If somebody is willing to accept that beforehand, then, that's their funeral. But
right.
Prior to, So I just want to let this guy know that I've been there, and, 9 years later, I still have a restraining order on the guy. So just tell him to get out while he can.
Exactly. Lynn, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
Hi, Lynn.
Do you honestly believe that bipolar is a real disease?
Well, whatever it is, if you have it, I don't want to live with you.
Why? No, but why do you never hear of guys having it?
Well, yeah, you do hear about guys having it.
Not really, though. It seems like girls just use it as an excuse because they just spaz out.
Well, I think girls use other things. Postpartum depression, of course, just about any excuse to kill a man, for example. While I was sleeping, and I was afraid he might kill me when I was sleeping, so I had to kill him. Things like that.
I just think it's funny that, you never hear of a guy, but girls always use that as an excuse. Whenever they're fighting, they go, oh, I'm bipolar. Well, if there's medication for bipolar, then why are you not keep on your medication? Well,
there are plenty of men who are bipolar, believe me. There are no men with postpartum depression, but there's plenty of men who are bipolar.
But then that's considered them working too hard, or... I mean, guys don't act like girls.
Well, no, I think what happens is I think girls are more likely to be diagnosed because they're more likely to go to a shrink.
I just think girls use it as an excuse.
Well, I think people use their mental illnesses as excuses in general, and my whole attitude about it is I feel very sorry for you if you're bipolar. I just don't want you having the keys to my place.
Exactly.
I've already been there once with somebody. I'm not going back.
Well, but if there's a cure for it, stay on those pills.
Well,
nobody's having a problem.
Well, here's one of the problems with the pills, and this is one of the reasons people don't like taking them. It affects your ability to have an orgasm.
That's a problem.
Yes. So there are people who go off their medication for a night because they're going to have sex.
So you'd rather be a complete maniac.
That's how powerful the orgasm is.
That's why guys love girls that are crazy.
Yeah,
they usually get in bed.
There we go. Now you're starting to see the whole picture here.
Oh, damn it.
And that's why you just want to hit them and quit them.
All right. Love you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the call. Jonathan, hello.
Tom, what's happening today?
Not much. Do a little radio show here.
All right. Hey, all right. I was living in Colorado for a while. I met this chick out there. She told me she was bipolar, manic depressive. She was on all the pills and everything. I ended up moving out to California. She went back home to New York, and she came to visit me, and we were actually planning on moving in together, getting married. I mean, it was the whole thing, and this was like a couple of months ago. And then I ended up going out to a strip club, and I told her about it. She got extremely pissed off. We broke up and all that. And I'm single now, but man, I'm so happy I'm not with her now. Like, you have no idea. This chick was nuts. But, I mean, she was great in the sack, and that was one of the reasons why I loved her. But I still wasn't, I wasn't mature enough to understand, hey, dude, this is not good for me. But I mean, I just turned on right now, I'm listening to you, and it's just like, oh my God, man. And it's like, I'm so glad I'm not in this relationship anymore and that I cut it off with her. And man, dude, guys out there, if you're with a bipolar chick, dude, get out. Get out because... Get out today. Get out. Get out, because the sex is great. Like, it was the best sex I've ever had in my life was with this girl. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, well, yeah, I can get with her and I'll be happy the rest of my life. But man, she would get so depressed sometimes or just get pissed off for not, I mean, situations that would happen, that I think that's going to better us. And she would just get totally upset with it, and we'd end up getting into a fight. And, oh, man, we broke up when I was living with her in Colorado. Oh, we broke up every other day. And then we're always getting back together, break up, getting back together. But, dude, it's so not worth it. It's not the way you want to go down. I agree. If you want to bang somebody like that, make sure they don't know your real last name, your address, or your real phone number. Well, I mean, this chick had lockdown to everything. The only thing that she didn't have was access to my money, which, thank God, because her credit score was crap, too. So it was everything you guys are talking about, it was like, man, I just got over all that, And I was just about to marry this girl, about to, to lock it down and, end my life for a couple of years. I'm sure it wouldn't have lasted, but, I mean, like, I was about to go through all that, get my own place, with her, and right now it's like I see my whole life now ahead of me. Like 6 months ago, it was like, all right, my life is going to be over. I'm done with my friends. I'm done with all that. I was willing to do it. And then now that I see it from my perspective now, oh, I'm just so happy, man. I'm just so happy. Like, my life just improved. I'm sure that's true.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
What would you say to a man that did have a female friend?
I'd say you're a pussy. The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show from Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. If you're hooked up with somebody and you find out they're bipolar, they have some other serious mental illness, why would you stay? Why? Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How are you today?
I'm great.
Excellent. Hey, in regards to the bipolar disorder, I've been married almost 15 years. My wife, 4 years ago, attempted suicide and went to the doctor, the therapist, the psychiatrist, and she was diagnosed bipolar. And for the guy who just found out, it's not easy. I have contemplated over the past 4 years several times about leaving my wife, divorcing her. That I'm 40, well, almost 40 years old. I'll be 40 in March. And the thing for me is, why start over? But for him, if he can get out and it's a new relationship, my advice is definitely go. It's mental strain on me, in my relationship. I've missed work. I ended up quitting a job. I worked for the state here in Oregon, and I am quitting that job to be closer to home just, because of the fears that I had of my wife.
Why do you stay?
Because I honestly love my wife. She's got a great personality. She takes care of me hand and foot. I mean, anything I want, she does for me.
Except when she's busy trying to kill herself.
Well, that was a one-time incident. She's been on medication. And what you were saying as far as the sex drive for those who are on the medication, there are medications out there that do not affect the woman's ability to have an orgasm. It's just up to the doctor or the psychiatrist to find the right combination of medication to help her or the person who's diagnosed to get everything balanced. It's basically a chemical imbalance in the brain that has to be squared away with medication.
Well, that's great. I don't think most people do that kind of research. I think
no, I know they don't.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're truly in love with somebody, you know, you're willing to put up with the ups and downs, you know, and obviously this is a down, but, you know, and like I said, you know, we've been married almost 15 years, and it's just another so-called bump in the road that we have to work through, and we're doing our best, you know, with help of professionals to get everything under control. And it's very easy to get under control once, you know, you have the right direction to go and the right help that, you know, is available for everybody.
Right. Well, the woman I was married to took a kitchen knife into the bathroom as I was heading to work at 2:30 in the afternoon. And she said, when you get home, I won't be here.
Yeah, I was at work when my wife attempted suicide, and she actually took almost like a bungee cord and wrapped it around her arm, took a pair of scissors once the feeling left her hand, and took a pair of scissors and was cutting into her wrist to try and find the vein, when my sister happened to come over and find my wife laying in the bathroom in a pool of blood. And at that time, I worked about 45 minutes away from my house, and I got the call about 7 o'clock that night, and I got in my car and left, and I was doing anywhere from 100 to 120 on the way home. And after a while, you know, through therapy and stuff with my wife, I was able to tell my wife that, you know, I wasn't mad at her for, you know, doing what she did. I was more disappointed that she couldn't come to me with, you know, what she thought were major problems in our life.
I'll see, that's where you and I, you know, we go different roads. If that happened to me, I'm out. Right.
Yeah, but even after
I love me above everybody else.
You know, and that's true, Tom, and that's one thing that, you know, I've been contemplating with leaving my wife. You know, is it really worth my sanity to stay and, you know, keep going through this every, you know, 3 years? You know, because once somebody is on medication, like Effexor, for instance, after a while your body builds an immunity to it. And
by the way, I might add, I was just watching the TV show on HBO called Real Sports with Brian Gumbel.
Yeah.
And they had a piece on there about a kid who was a high school wrestler whose father killed his mother. And he had to kill his father to protect his siblings.
Oh, wow.
And it turned out this guy got married and didn't talk about the fact that he had attempted to commit suicide once before.
Right. That
his father had committed suicide. And that he had a grandfather who had some kind of issue as well. And the guy came home one day and came home and killed his wife. Right in front of the other kids. Right in front of all the kids. Now, you never know when it's going to progress to that point, or if it will. And for me, that's enough. That's all I need to hear.
That's very true, Tom. And like I said,
I could never love anybody that much more than me.
I agree with you, but, you know, as far as for me being in that situation, it's real hard to just, you know, drop 15 years, walk away, and, you know, because we do have kids, you know, and that would be a factor, because no matter if we're married until the day we die or if we get divorced.
Well, this guy had kids, too.
Right.
And his kid had to kill him.
She will still be a part of my life, you know, just because of the kids.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same, but I don't know. You and I do have different views on certain things, and, you know, and that's fine. You know, that's what makes us all individuals. But, you know, just to point out the fact, it is a major stress on the other.
There's one area code I never want to dial on my phone, and it's 911.
Yeah, very true.
That's the one I leave out. By the way, I don't know if you know this, that's the area code of the place where I grew up, the Bronx. That's the area code for the Bronx 911. It's absolutely true. 1-800-5800-TOM. Darren, hello.
Tom, how's it going?
Great.
You know, I've waited 3 years to talk to you about this subject. When I was in my 20s, I lived much like a Leykis lifestyle, but then I met a stripper who changed my view on things, or so I thought, and then I moved her out to California with me. I was in New York at the time. And one thing led to another. She had a lot of problems. She couldn't hold down a job. She couldn't keep her life together. Everything was a disaster. Nothing ever worked out. Couldn't I just help her? And one thing led to another. And, of course, I moved her in with me, and I supported her, and I said it was okay. And then she told me how things would get so much better. She had a lot of depression. There was a suicide attempt. I should have dumped her, but I didn't. And she convinced me that if I married her, things would be better. And 2 days after
Things do not get better when you marry somebody. They just don't.
God, it's like pouring gasoline on a match. She tried to kill me with a pitchfork 2 days after we were married, and she was committed 51-50. And her parents came to the hospital, and my dad was on one side, and he said, dump her, dump her. And her mother was on the other side. How could you possibly leave this poor person alone? Don't you dare. And I stayed with her for a couple more years, and then one night I woke up with my 9mm in my face. People that have bipolar problems are not only not going to get better, they will take your money, they will take your livelihood, they will take your life if you let them. And, Tom, any guy who comes across someone who's bipolar and he knows it, I don't care. If she was good in bed, holy Christ, it was like a carnival most times. But it's not worth your life. And, you know, if you realize what's going on with a chick like that, dude, you should run as fast as you possibly can and never look back. I still got to worry about if she's skulking around. I hear she's been arrested. She's been homeless since I divorced her, you know, and it can take away the rest of your life. One night, 1 month, it's just not worth it.
Oh, I agree with you.
I like it.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
One easy way to tell what you look like is to ask how much money your husband. Your husband makes $1 million a year. I want to see you naked. If your husband makes $35,000 a year, don't even bother showing it to me. I don't want to see. If you make twice the money your husband makes, you're hideous. Bottom line.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Paul, hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Great.
Excellent. Glad to hear it, man. I had called up to tell you, man, a couple of years back, about 3 years back, I hooked up with this chick, and right off the bat, I will say that I'm a recovering alcoholic. So as you learn being around that stuff, honesty goes a long way, and I had told her up front that that was my situation, and I didn't want to get hooked up with anybody, you know, that was, you know, into alcohol, drugs, anything like that. I'm just beyond that now and trying to get through it. And this chick said, you know, that's great. You know, I'm not a drinker, not into that stuff. So on goes the relationship for a little while, slow at first, and then come to find out that she is just like closet drinking. She's going behind my back, drinking up a storm, just told me one thing and total lie, just psycho, you know. And after realizing that, you know, me being in the program, I had offered to try to get her some help, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I went through a good program, and you may get some help here at this place. So I took her up there and saw her through the program. She stayed there for you know, the duration, which was 20, 21 day, 29 day, whatever it was. and got back out, went up there, picked her up, visited her while she was there, all that, and got back out. And you want to find some local programs around your house that you want to go to.
We're running out of time, but I get the idea. It's terrible, and I don't want to be in that situation, and I don't know why anybody will want to be in that situation. Our email address is my name. It's Tom@blowmeuptom.com.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.